dreams come true. There's no limit to what we can do. Turning no's to yes, leaving doubt behind, releasing the stress. We were born to shine. Welcome to season 3 of the Sade Champagne Show, where we dream, where we live the impossible. GrindHard Radio. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Tune in at 323-693-3043. Join me with my cast: Veronica Esquivel-Winters, Christina Renee, Ayakunle Falama, Rick and Melissa Wood, Michelle Morgan, and Ebony and Erica from Tulala One on YouTube. We have celebrity guests, music, entertainment, spirituality, sports, fitness, health, wellness, beauty, hot topics, education, entrepreneurship, and more. Yeah. Season 3 of the Sade Champagne Show, GrindHard Radio. Good evening, everyone. That was D'Angelo with She's Always in My Hair, which is actually a Prince cover and my favorite Prince song ever. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 40 of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio. Every episode is available on iTunes. Search The Sade Champagne Show, and you can download them for free. Also, my Sade Champagne YouTube channel is another place where you can listen to the show afterwards. Thanks to everyone for tuning in all around the globe. All the episodes of my show are available at blogtalkradio.com/grindhard_radio. I've also posted the direct link to this episode on my Twitter and Facebook pages, so you can tune in at any time. Thank you to Travis Miller for creating and producing my show's theme song, and to Scott Swish for mixing it. Thanks to Kata Mafiaso for helping me to create my brand new radio drop. If this is your first time listening, I'm a professional musical artist, performer, inspirational speaker, and entrepreneur. I have created, directed, and executive produced almost 300 charitable and inspirational events, including my popular Power of a Dream tour. I love mentoring, coaching, authentically being myself, and using my platform to encourage, empower, and bring out the gold in others. Tonight's special guests include award-winning musical artist Melinda Hale and Antoine King, and pastor, speaker, writer, and actor Torrence Nivens. Melinda Hale was featured in Forbes magazine along with Andy Grammer for being a social media influencer on Flippergram. She has also been featured on KCAL9 News and NBC as an emerging artist, and recently nominated for 2 Independent Artist Awards and 2 Hollywood Music and Media Awards, where she won Best Female Vocalist of the Year. Antoine King has won multiple awards for his music, been featured on MTV2, Sucker Free, freestyle, rap a cappella on the streets of Hollywood, and created his own record label called King's Music Group. Torrence Nivens pastors Evangelistic Missionary Baptist Church in Port Hueneme, graduated from Cal State Northridge in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in cinema, television, and arts with an emphasis in screenwriting. He graduated from Andersonville Theological Seminary of Georgia in 2015 with a master's degree in theology, and is pursuing his doctorate in theology. My castmates Rick and Melissa Wood also brought a brand new Living with Fearless Joy segment. I have a lot of performances and speaking engagements coming up. I'm so thankful to be able to travel and do what I love. And me and my artists are always booking new shows and performances. We love traveling. If you're looking to bring me, Power of a Dream Tour, or any of our award-winning, critically acclaimed artists, speakers, mentors, or workshop leaders to your city or event, please email me at SadeChampagneMusic@gmail.com. That's SadeChampagneMusic@gmail.com for more details. Check out my Facebook page, Sade Champagne, to see my full schedule. Just look under events. Lastly, thank you to everybody who you watch my video, you share and subscribe to every new video. I'm constantly creating new pieces. I'm writing new content, and I'm going back into the recording studio soon with my music producers, the Quakes. To find out more about my musical journey and how you can be involved, check out GoFundMe.com/Sade Champagne Music. That's GoFundMe.com/Sade Champagne Music. I'm live tweeting and posting on Facebook all show long, and I want to know your thoughts. Tweet me at Sade Champagne, Facebook me at Sade Champagne, Instagram, I am Sade Champagne, hashtag Sade Champagne Show or GHR to join in the conversation. Shout out to everybody who tweets me, you Facebook me, Instagram, YouTube, and email me every single week, and sometimes every single day. Your support amazes me.
Our first special guest is on the line. He's from Los Angeles and now residing in Oxnard, California. He's an award-winning hip-hop artist, writer, music producer, and speaker, Antoine King. He is a good friend of mine whom I thoroughly enjoy performing and empowering our community with. In 2006, he won the Southern California Music Award for Best Hip-Hop Artist. Also in 2008, he was nominated for 5 Maverick Music Awards, and he was a featured performer on that award show. In 2016, he won the Word on the Street Award for his music at the Ventura County Music Awards. He has been featured on dubcnn.com, raptalk.net, and various other websites. He was also featured on MTV2, Sucker Free, freestyle rap a cappella on the streets of Hollywood. With his own recording studio, in late 2016, Antoine created his own record label called King's Music Group. His vision is to support other artists like him who want to create motivational and inspirational hip-hop music. When Antoine is not, he is a devoted husband and father to 3 beautiful daughters. Hi, Antoine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Sade?
Fantastic. We are glad to have you finally as a special guest on episode 40 of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio.
I'm excited. I'm glad we're able to do this.
Definitely. And so how did you first get your start in music, and when did you know you wanted this to be your life?
Oh, it started young, actually. It started when I was like 5 years old. Excuse me, my babysitter at the time, she had the Eric B. is President single, by Eric B. and Rakim, and I played that over and over and over. I wrote down all the words, and I was reciting it to everybody who had ears. So then I started writing my own lyrics from there and started, composing my own songs, writing poetry here and there. But I started really being interested in writing music and writing raps when I was like 5, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm. And so what are some of the challenges you have faced in your career, and how do you handle them?
It's a great question. Challenges is, being that, I have my own label, independent artist, independent label. A lot of the funds come from me. I invest my own money into my music, and sometimes that's a challenge because I'm also trying to maintain a household and raise my family and make sure they have everything they need. But God always works it out where I'm still able to, make good on the things that I want. So He always provides. So those are some of the challenges, but in a way, it still always works out.
A lot of people don't realize, and you and I talk about this often, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a creator, director, executive producer, all those fancy titles, it really just means that you're the first one to show up, you're the last one to leave, and that you spend a lot of hours and make sacrifices, even though it doesn't feel like necessarily a sacrifice to us because we're doing what we love, but and other people look on the outside, we make sacrifices to be able to do these things. It's not all glitz and glamour like they make it seem on TV or social media.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you because I first believe you have to love what you're doing. And so it makes it easier for you to make those sacrifices. Not saying that it's going to be completely easy, but it makes it easier for you to handle those things because you're doing something you love. You have a purpose. You have a why. And if you don't have those things and you're just doing it, trying to follow a fad or doing it because you think it's cool, eventually you'll quit. Because this business, and like any other business, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak. It's not for the timid. You have to come into it doing it for the right reasons, and if you love it, you'll go far. And if you're doing it for, if you have purpose behind your music, it'll touch who it's supposed to touch. So that's where my intentions are.
What is your favorite part or thing about being an artist and performer?
I love the art of performing in front of anybody, but really people who have never seen me, who probably didn't even come to see me that night. I'm probably just doing a showcase with a bunch of other artists, and they get to hear me and see me for the first time, don't know me, and I affect them. And then when I get off the stage, they come up to me telling me they like the music, they like what I'm about. That's what I love to do, is being able to just go out and present my music in front of people and hopefully inspire somebody. Hopefully it moves somebody. Hopefully it says, oh, man, I love that type of music. I love that type of rap. So that's my favorite part of performing is showcasing my talents to people who don't even know who I am.
And that's exactly how we got connected, because, we were both performing at Relay for Life of Oxnard, and the lady, Vicky, who puts on the event every year, or the entertainment of the, for the event every year, was like, oh, I have this other artist who's coming, he's from LA, but he's here now. I think you should stay after. I think you'll like it. And so then as I'm watching you perform, I'm looking at my other artists and my friends, and I'm like, I'm like, he is absolutely incredible, and I want to get to know him and what he's doing and be able to support that and bring it into what I do. And so that's exactly what you're doing. You are definitely making an impact, and I like to call you, you're an artist. So basically, like, artists and musicians really love you as well, and we appreciate what you do.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, and you already know I appreciate what you do. Because
yes,
I see we're after similar things, and our music is about overcoming and being comfortable with who you are, and don't always think it's all gloom and doom. You can make it through bad times. I hear a lot of that in your music as well, so I also appreciate what you do.
Thank you. And so you're leading into my next question. You have 3 daughters, and one of the reasons that you and I connected is you like the empowering and confidence-building messages I sing about. With you being a father.
What advice would I give to them?
Yes, to young women and girls that are listening, about believing in themselves and developing healthy relationships.
Value yourself. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care what your background is, skin color, what have you. Value who you are. And you can be different than everyone in the room. And instead of seeing that as a negative, look at it as a positive. God decided to make you different because you're special. And so you should, once you start valuing who you are, people will value you more. Because first you have to value yourself before you're able to draw like-minded individuals or people who would just genuinely gravitate towards you because you're comfortable in your own skin. So I just believe in being who you are. Don't ever follow the crowd. Always do what you know is right. Keep your integrity no matter what. If it's money, if it's a potential man that you think is cute and always keep your integrity. And I guarantee you won't lose.
That's powerful. And I think it's great to hear, for other young women and girls, and especially with you being a father of 3 girls, for them to be able to hear empowering messages like that from men, and I love that with your music as well, because you and I both know they're not hearing that enough. They're hearing all the most inappropriate, disturbing, disgusting things that you can imagine. And it's just like, I'm thankful to have an artist like you, and I know there's others, but we're specific right now who are bringing music to empower and uplift them and everyone.
Oh, thank you. That's the main goal. That's one of my whys. That's one of my reasons that I do what I do, is because I feel there's a lack of music with substance, and you probably feel the exactly same way. I don't think there's a lot of, especially men out there, just standing up for not just men but everyone, for women, for the queens, for the young queens that we're raising, for these young soldiers that need guidance, that say, hey man, you ain't got a gangbang. Hey homie, I'm from LA. I know what all that's about. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go that route to be cool. That's crazy. You don't have to sell drugs, man. There's nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5 job. You don't let them put you in the system. So, I just think we have to make that cool. We need people like Sade Champagne standing up on the stage saying what she's saying. You know, we have to make that cool.
Definitely. And so congratulations on being nominated in the Best Hip Hop and Rap categories at this year's Ventura County Music Awards. How does it feel to be nominated again after winning last year?
It is definitely a blessing. I was not expecting this. I know it's all God, trust me, because to be honest, my wife was listening. You know, I had it on, I was listening, but she was really, really paying attention, and she shouted it out, and I couldn't believe it. I was very surprised, so I'm thankful to even be nominated, and I'm grateful that this music with a positive message, people are enjoying it, and, you know, I just feel blessed, and I'm just grateful.
And please share with us another one of your professional favorite highlights so far.
Oh man, that would have to be meeting Mr. Chuck D at a showcase in Ventura called Light It Up. I was performing and I wasn't sure if he was going to show up or not, so I'm performing and then all of a sudden he walks in and he sits at the table and he ends up inviting me over to his table and I get to meet him and we talked for like an hour that day and he told me he appreciated my work and he liked the way I was handling myself on stage. And ever since then, we talk back and forth. He'll send me a text. I'll send him a text. So I'm just blessed to be able to say, like, I text Chuck D. Like, I talk to Chuck. Like, to me, that's crazy because, you know, I was a young guy growing up looking up to this guy, listening to his music, and now I can honestly say he knows who I am. So to me, that's a blessing.
Definitely. That's a huge honor. Let's talk about your new single, This Is the Day, which is available on iTunes, and also your new singles and videos that will be released this summer. And to our listeners, we are going to be playing This Is the Day very soon at the end of my interview with Antoine.
Absolutely. So This Is the Day. It's a motivational record. It's something you can play on your way to work, on your way to the gym. It's one of those songs that can get you through your Mondays, you know, your Monday blues, if that's what you're feeling, or, you know, any day of the week. It's something that can motivate you. It's something that can drive you to go harder. We all can push ourselves. And sometimes we have to be self-motivated. We can't depend on other people to push us. We have to push ourselves if we want to be great, if we want to accomplish our goals. And this was the anthem I came up with. It's called This Is the Day, available on iTunes. You can go to AntoineKingMusic.com and see the video. You can go to YouTube and see the video. But it's real inspirational. It's something fun, something you can play in front of your kids and just enjoy it.
And you have some new music and videos coming out this summer and throughout this year as well, correct?
Absolutely. I have a new song called PCH. We'll be shooting a video for it this summer. It's a real fun song, just celebrating Southern California, celebrating, you know, the PCH, which is a beautiful highway in between, you know, the oceans, the mountains is right next to it, but it's just beautiful, and it's just about enjoying life. You know, not taking everything so seriously. Sometimes we have to look at our surroundings and say, oh, thank God I get to experience this. You know, thank God I'm healthy to be able to come out to the PCH and enjoy and see the beautiful scenery. So that's what this song is about. It'll be available this summer, and the video is coming this summer as well.
All right, and as we wrap up our time together, Antoine, please let everyone know how they can stay updated with your happenings on social media and your booking info.
Absolutely. Everything is Antoine King Music. So if you ANTWON KingMusic.com. That's my website. That's my main hub. You can go there and then click on all my social media, my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, you know, etc. So get in contact with me. Follow me online. I'll follow you back, and let's keep this thing going.
And lastly, Antoine, please introduce your new song, This Is the Day, which you know is my jam, so we can share it with our listeners around the world.
Absolutely. What's up? This is Antoine King. Check out my brand new single, This Is the Day, produced by Paul Cabin. It is an amazing song. It will definitely get you pumped and amped, something you can work out to, go to work to, whatever to. It's a beautiful record. Check it out.
Give it up for Antoine King and keep listening to the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio.
Are you looking for a dynamic musical artist, performer, host, or inspirational speaker for your next event? What about a mentor, vocal instructor, or workshop leader for your school, company, or seminar? Contact Sade Champagne for countless professional services that are sure to fit your particular need. She is an in-demand, award-winning, and critically acclaimed musical artist, performer, inspirational speaker, and entrepreneur who is invited all around the world. She is known for having a powerful voice, turning ideas into action, creating, directing, and executive producing popular charitable and inspirational events, and bringing out the gold in others. Her services are for all ages, backgrounds, and environments. Contact Sade Champagne at SadeChampagneMusic@gmail.com. That's SadeChampagneMusic@gmail.com to book her for your next event or project.
Hi, this is Melissa Joy Wood with the Living with Fearless Joy segment on the Sade Champagne Show, and you're listening on GrindHard Radio.
You're listening to the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio. Time for our second special guest of the evening. Melinda Hale is a Los Angeles-based pop soul singer-songwriter. Hale has received the ASCAP Plus Award for Independent Artist, City of Chicago's Independent Artist Grant, the Top Singer-Songwriter Award in the Independent Artists Network Music Art Awards, and was featured in Forbes magazine along with Andy Grammer and Soleil Moon Frye for being a social media influencer on Flipagram. She has also been featured on KCAL 9 News and NBC as an emerging artist and was recently nominated for 2 Independent Artist Awards and 2 Hollywood Music and Media Awards, where she won Best Female Vocalist of the Year. She was a headliner at NAMM 2017 and is a member of the NARAS, which is the National Association of Recording Arts and Sciences. Hi, Melinda. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, my goodness. We are ecstatic to have you. What a joy to have you all as a special guest on episode 40 of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio Network.
Thank you.
So how did you first get into music and performing arts?
Oh, I always joke that I popped out singing. But I grew up singing in church. I know that's an age-old story for most people, but that's definitely where I got my start. And my dad was a musician back in the 70s, and he toured and played with bands, and he's a bass player and guitar player. So I was always exposed to music growing up, and it just has been a part of my life for forever. And I remember, I think I was 5 or 6 when Whitney Houston sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I'm going to do that one day. And she was always such a huge inspiration for me. So that was kind of a defining moment that young that I wanted to be a singer. So I started, like I said, singing in church, and then from then on, I did like musical theater in school and just kept going from there. And I found, a lot of vocalists that I latched on to and really connected with, and I found my voice, really. So music has always been a part of my life, and I really couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Definitely. I totally get that. And so what are some of the challenges you have faced in your career, and how do you handle them?
Good question. I think currently one of the challenges that I've faced is that naturally, and I'm sure you probably have run into this as well, but being a African-American female in the music industry, people will automatically look at you and think, oh, she does R&B. And I don't do R&B music. I love R&B, but it's not at all the genre that I do. I'm very much a pop singer-songwriter. I kind of align myself like one of my favorite artists is Gavin DeGraw. Everyone who knows me knows that. And that's kind of what I emulated my sound after. And so I have kind of this pop soul singer-songwriter, kind of some rock to it when it's live, and that's really been the big struggle, is just to get people to listen to my music without judging what they think it's going to be based on my picture and my look. But my look really isn't even an R&B look, if that makes sense. So that's one of the challenges I face. But it's also just figuring out where your audience is, how to make this a sustainable career, because I'm really big on integrity and following your passion and your heart, not quote unquote selling out just to make it. You know, I can't. If I decided I wanted to be an R&B artist tomorrow, I'm pretty sure my career would be farther along. Even though I feel like my career is far along, but that's just not who I am. So it is always a challenge staying true to yourself. But I'm happier at the end of the day when I'm being true. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges I'm facing right now.
That's really good. And so you're leading into my next question about, you know, why do you think that self-esteem and confidence are so important?
I mean, they're really integral to anybody's happiness, but I think especially in this industry because you go through a lot of rejection. You go through a lot of no's before you, I mean, it's going to take 1,000 no's before you get that one yes. But if you are secure in who you are and what you're doing and what your message is, sooner or later, it's going to come around. And for me, I'm a very, very spiritual person, and I truly believe in God's timing for everything. And I think things have happened for me when they're meant to happen, and they're not going to happen. Other things won't happen until I'm ready and until God thinks I'm ready. So if you believe in yourself and believe that what you have is going to make an impact and that you have a mark that you're supposed to make in the world, it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So we have to believe in ourselves and our talent and our ability to convey a message and to impact people positively. And I definitely have that confidence in myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing this for so long. I would have given up a long time ago.
Right. Exactly. And so I want to get your thoughts on this because I love seeing your posts on social media because you're able to speak truthfully but still in an uplifting way about, you know, things that are happening within our society and social media and music. Like, for example, you know, we don't want to mention any names because I don't want to highlight negativity and what's perpetuating negative stereotypes. But, for example, you'll see someone who becomes famous really quickly and gets a TV show, all these deals, you know, just because for being, like, ignorant and for perpetuating horrible stereotypes. How do you navigate through those frustrations and allow yourself to not feel drained when you see those types of things happening where it seems people are getting quick success for basically acting a fool versus what we are used to and how we grew up? You know, people, they worked hard, they used their opportunities, you know, like the people we're inspired by, like you say, Justin Timberlake, even Beyonce, Gavin DeGraw, tons of other people. They worked really hard and they stayed true to what they desired and what they're passionate about. You know, and they change with the culture, but still staying true to themselves and not with what we're seeing nowadays. So how do you navigate through that?
It's difficult. I'm not going to lie. It is very difficult. But because when you do see those things, you're like, God, I've been grinding for years and I haven't had that big of a break. And then somebody does something that's stupid and, you know, they're famous. But I have to remember that I have a vision for my life that is going to surpass what that person's existence is. I guarantee it. And I think people get so hung up on, like, this 15 minutes of fame. But I promise you, in a year, these people aren't going to be remembered. They're going to, you know, I don't want to be who? Or, what happened to that person? I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be like, what she's doing next. That's what I want to be followed by my name. Melinda Hale, what's she doing next? What's she doing now, you know? So it is hard to do that because I do feel like I work very hard, and a lot of the successes that I've had have been incremental, but I know that I'm on my way to that big moment that's going to continue and it's going to sustain. And that's what I care more about is longevity than in the moment success. So I have to remember that, one, everybody's path is different. We are all different people. And however somebody else comes to fame and success is not how I'm going to come to that. So I have to remember that everybody has a different journey, and my journey is just not that person's. And I know that's hard in the moment, but we have to remember that. We have to be happy with our path, happy with our journey, and just continue down it and know that we are taking the right steps in the way that we're supposed to get to where we need to be. So I try to stay positive because it's hard to a lot of the times when you see that stuff, but I just have to remember that the end goal and what I want to accomplish has nothing to do with that person.
That's powerful. And I love what you said, too. You make your decisions from a longevity perspective as opposed to making it for temporary gratification or what is going to make me successful in this moment. And sometimes we have those great opportunities that we create or that come to us that are it seems like an instant choice to be made, but it does lead to something long term. But oftentimes it is exactly what you said, to be making our daily decisions and our activity being based upon, okay, like you said, I want this to last. I want it to be sustainable. So props to you on that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what has been your favorite memory so far in your career?
Oh God, I feel like there's been so many. I would say recently it was having the headliner spot for the after party at NAMM, which is a National Association of Music Merchants conference. And it happens every year in Anaheim. It's a huge conference where all music merchants, like Sony and, Tascam and M Audio, just all the huge Sennheiser, Shure, all the big audio brands. You can come and check out new equipment that they have, and they usually have live performances. And so I was able to, with my band, open up the after party, and it was a huge moment for me because I had a bigger stage to perform on, and I feel like when you're in the kind of the LA scene or in the acoustic touring scene, you get smaller stages and smaller venues, but definitely one of the bigger platforms I've been able to perform on. And I really felt like I came into my own, even though I've been doing this for so many years. It felt like I had hit a peak in my career for sure. And it was just it was fun. I just had fun performing. I was stressed. I wasn't nervous. I just was able to show my heart and show what I believed in, and my band's amazing. So it was a huge moment for me, and I'll never forget it. And it kicked off the year the way I wanted it to. I think another moment for me that's been a huge highlight was last year I did a song called We Run, and I made a video. It was in response to the Black Lives Matter movement, and the response from that was so positive, and I think it's one of the reasons why I do music, because, you can easily get into arguments on Facebook and Twitter, and I definitely engage in those sometimes, but music is such a powerful tool that it gets people to hear your perspective in a different way, because everybody connects with music. I don't know a single person that doesn't like music in some form. So when I'm able to use music to spread a message, there's really nothing better. So being able to get people to hear my perspective, being a Black woman, and being for, obviously, the Black Lives Matter movement, but through song, was really, really powerful, because it got people to take a step back and just hear somebody's voice and hear somebody's heart, rather than just seeing a hashtag and not really knowing what it's about. That was a huge moment for me, too, because it reached a huge audience. So I'm really proud of that moment as well.
Well, you have a very beautiful voice, and when I first met you, I realized, and I was like, gosh, I like it. So I was like, her voice is different. I love, I grew up listening to a lot of rock and pop music as well, but it's not how it is today, where you can be like, oh, I'm Black, and I love any kind of music, and people, people won't look at you crazy. It's like when I was growing up, and I think we're both around the same age, it's like, oh, you listen to Matchbox 20 and Goo Goo Dolls, and you listen to, No Doubt and all this stuff, and it's like, yes, that's what I like listening to.
Right.
But, so I think it's so cool hearing your voice, and it's really different and really rich and beautiful. And so I would like to talk about all the exciting things you have coming up. Tell us about your residency at State Social House, which is on the third Tuesday of every month, and it just recently started. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so third Thursday of every month, there's this company called Tuesday Music Club, and they offer free music Tuesday nights, all ages. It goes from 8 to 11, and so the third Tuesday of every month, I'm going to be the headliner for that showcase. So from 10 to 11, it's later for me because I don't usually sleep by then, but it's going to be a lot of fun. 10 to 11, me and my band, we're going to be performing. I'll have special guests. I'm really excited about it. It's a really great venue. It's really cute. It's on Sunset, the upstairs portion of State Social House. And, yeah, if people want to come out, it's free in all ages. So it's something to do. We're going to hear live music and support independent artists. It's a great place to be.
You are going to be leading worship at Harmony Toluca Lake, which is a campus of Hollywood United Methodist Church, starting May 21st. How did that opportunity come about? And please tell us more.
Absolutely. So, yeah, being a worship leader has always been a part of my life and being involved in the church community. And I came to this church about 2 years ago, when it was just called the North Campus of Hollywood United Methodist Church. And so they opened it in 2015, but they wanted to kind of revamp some things as far as how the look of the church is and really outreaching to millennials and people in the arts districts. So they closed down in January of this year, and we've taken the last 3-4 months to kind of revamp our vision, our entire team, and also figuring out, even though it is church, it is a business in the sense that you want to reach people and have to figure out how to market and get, people to want to come and be a part of this faith community. So we have this entire team that's been put together of just really wonderful spiritual people, and we're opening up May 21st, and I was assistant worship leader before when the church was open. Now that we're reopened, I've taken over as the worship leader. I'm really excited about it because everyone there just has such a beautiful heart. It's a welcoming, affirming church that allows anybody to come that has a passion for God and just wants to be a part of loving people. There's no judgment. There's no critique of who you are as a human being. We welcome everybody, and that's aligns with also my message as a singer-songwriter of what I believe and the people I want to surround myself with. That for me, God is love, and it's really, truly that simple, and that's really how the church functions. And that's what I love because, people hear the word church and they get a little scared sometimes, but I really view this more as a community of spiritual people that love everybody. And so I wouldn't align myself with a church that didn't have a message of inclusivity. So if people are in the area, it's in Toluca Lake, Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Right now we're doing 4 preview services, so May 21st, June 20th, July, I'm trying to think about it. It's going to be the third Sunday of every month. We're doing preview services from May through August, and then in September we start weekly services. So the preview services are really to get people introduced to the church and also to get feedback on what works for a church environment. And then we start weekly services in September. So first one is May 21st, 10:30 a.m. at Harmony Toluca Lake, which is on the corner of Cahuenga and Whipple in Toluca Lake. And it's going to be amazing and a loving community. So I hope people come.
Oh, yes, definitely. And from the way you've already described it and just knowing what you represent, that makes it, even more warm to me. So I'm thankful that they have you and that you've been able to also connect with them as well.
Yes.
All right. And tell us about your web series 202.
Yes. So in December of last year, my friend Michael and we've been talking about years doing something together, but when you're in the LA scene, so I was like, let's collaborate, and then years go by and you haven't done anything. So finally I was like, no, we need to collaborate on something. So we met up in December, and I said, look, I just want to create something together. He was in my video for We Run, and, we share similar visions, and, being Black entertainers in the industry, we just wanted to create something that was positive and something for Black people to feel like they can connect to and relate to. And so he brought me a couple of script ideas, and the last one he presented to me was 202. And it's basically, I like to think of it as kind of Friends meets This Is Us. So it has the comedy and it's a dramedy, basically. So we started filming in January. I got a couple of my friends involved to be the other cast members. I'm also one of the leads. And we started filming in January, and we are 8 episodes in, and we're filming our last 2 episodes this week. And it's all up on YouTube, just youtube.com/202 the series. And all the episodes are less than 13 minutes, so it's easy to sit down and watch very quickly. And I think it's something that's very, very relatable that everybody can enjoy. And it isn't just for the Black community, but we wanted to make sure that we had characters that portrayed Black people in a very positive light. So I think it's a very relatable show, and it's very well written. And we use a lot of music from independent artists, myself included, and the entire team that works on the show is just wonderful. I can't say enough good things about them. So if you need a new show to binge watch quickly, you can go to youtube.com/202 the series.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to be checking that out because that sounds just right up my alley of what the type of entertainment I love to watch and engage in.
Great.
Also, I want to make it out for your Melinda Hale and Friends show at the W Hollywood Hotel on June 29th. Please share about the event and how people can attend.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for this. So 427 Productions, they've been putting on these incredible shows at the W Hotel in Hollywood, and these started a couple years ago, and I was blessed enough to be connected with the booker, and so I did a mini show a couple weeks ago, just a 30-minute set, and they really, really loved it, and so they invited me back to do an entire night with me and my friends,
Wow.
which I'm so excited for, and it's a huge honor. So the tickets will be up, and I'll have a link on my website probably the end of this month, just MalindaHale.com. You can purchase tickets. There's 3 different tiers of tickets if you want seating, or if you just want to come stand, it's free. But I'm going to have about 5 special guests. The show's going to be from 10 to 11:30 in the lobby of the W Hotel on June 29th, and it's going to be amazing. So,
girl, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I definitely need to check this out. And to all of our listeners, I'm going to be retweeting and also sharing the links from Melinda's shows and things that she has coming up. So if you're not following her directly, but you are following me, you're going to be able to see her links on there. But, of course, I want to encourage you to follow her as well. And so, Melinda, as we wrap up our time together, please tell us about your beautiful new single, Stand, before we play it live on air tonight, and let everyone also know how they can stay updated with your happenings on social media and what your booking info is.
Absolutely. So I'll start with all the social media. It's just at Melinda Hale. Keep it simple. MALYNDAHALE for Twitter and Instagram. And then Facebook, same thing. If you just type in my name, Melinda Hale, you'll find my page. And I always write people back, so please message me and keep in touch with me. My booking info is booking@melindahale.com. So you can contact me through that. I do house concerts for summer parties, private events, all that stuff. I love to sing and spread a positive message, which going into the song Stand, my friend Kevin, who is one of the producers that I work with and who I worked on this song with, co-wrote, and he produced it as well. I really wanted to write a song about everything that's going on now, and I wanted to write a powerful message. It's kind of anthemic to get people to come together, and he had this track that he had been working on, and I immediately just started singing this hook to it, and I was like, we have to write to this. I think this is the song. And so I started writing the hook, and then we got together and co-wrote some of the verses, and I was like, I really think this is just going to be a powerful song. And so once it finished, just the response was so good, and then we did this amazing music video that featured kids kind of accomplishing their dreams, and I just think the message is so important now, this day and age, that we all have to just stand for what we believe in, and sometimes what we're standing for is bigger than who we are as people, and that's what makes it so powerful. So that's what this song is about, and I really just hope that your listeners are encouraged by it and galvanized to want to make a difference and to stand up.
Definitely. And so, Melinda, we want to thank you for being who you are. Thank you for your music. Thank you for being such a beautiful representation of not only Black women, but women in general and just the human race, and as all people of all cultures. And I would love for you to please introduce your new song, Stand, so we can share it with our listeners around the world right now.
Absolutely. The song you're about to hear is called Stand. You can pick it up on iTunes or stream it on Spotify, and it's written by myself and my friend Kevin Porter. Hope you enjoy it.
Wonderful. That's Melinda Hale. Keep listening to the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio.
I'm Kevin Miller, and I believe every person deserves to feel great in their body and their life. I'm creating a community of people committed to empowering each other to achieve our dreams. Before I found my purpose, I had lost all hope of ever permanently getting back to a healthy weight. I'd tried every plan. I was stressed and overwhelmed about life and the future. Then I was introduced to a clinically proven, all-natural cleansing and nutrition system by my daughter. It's convenient, satisfying, and affordable. I released over 100 pounds and absolutely know I will reach my goal weight. I'm excited about life again, can play with my grandkids, and do anything I desire without any limitations. If any of this interests you, please call me at 805-218-7146, 805-218-7146. Have a great day.
Beautiful people. See, this is why I don't sing on the show. Hey, guys, this is Christina Renee from the What's Going On segment on the Sade Champagne Show, and you're listening to GrindHard Radio.
Welcome back to the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio. Time for our final interview of the evening. I love featuring empowering people in my community who are doing positive things. My friend Torrence Nivens is a pastor, speaker, writer, and actor. He was raised in South Central Los Angeles. He started pastoring Evangelistic Missionary Baptist Church of Fort Hueneme in 2012. He graduated from Cal State Northridge in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in cinema, television, and arts with an emphasis in screenwriting. He graduated from Andersonville Theological Seminary of Georgia in 2015 with a master's degree in theology. Currently, Torrence is pursuing his doctorate in theology. He has been married to Rebecca Gordon for 13 years, and they have 2 beautiful sons, Ephraim, who is 6, and Nehemiah, who is 3. Torrence is very active in the community as it pertains towards helping people better themselves and to be a voice for all others. Hi, Torrence. How are you?
Hi, Sade Champagne. I am doing great. I'm doing, especially after that opening song. That opening song is hot. It is awesome. I really enjoyed that. I'm doing awesome.
Thank you so much. We are so glad to have you on episode 40 of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio Network.
I'm so glad to be here. I just want to say before we go further, you are an extraordinary sister. You're an extraordinary person. What you're doing in the community, what you're doing with this awesome radio show, connecting with other people, connecting with everyone is extraordinary. I just want to encourage you to keep up the good work. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you so much, and I'm thankful to have your support, and you're such a wonderful and powerful influence in our community, so I'm excited to be able to chat it up with you tonight.
Thank you.
And have our listeners around the world get to know you better as well.
I'm excited. Thank you.
So how did you get into ministering? Have you always wanted to be a pastor and a speaker?
No. No, I have not. No, I'm going to be honest with you. No. When I was a little boy, my grandmother, I think I was around the age of 6, and my grandmother was very influential in the church. She was a deaconess. She was a missionary. She was one of the founding members of Redeemer Missionary Baptist Church of South Central. And we were watching TV. I think I was watching like Tom and Jerry or something. And she was like, "Grandson, God told me you're going to be a pastor." I said, "Well, he didn't tell me that, Grandmama." I said, "No, he told you something when I was playing or something because I want to play basketball." And she said, "Well, God showed me that you're going to impact other people's lives and you're going to preach the gospel." And I ran for a very long time. When I became a teenager, I started to see signs of what God was doing in my life and how he wanted me to represent his word. But I ran. I wanted to be a teenager. I wanted to do young things. I wanted to experience things. And I had the misconception that if you became a preacher, all of a sudden your life ended or something. You were some kind of mannequin. You were like a zombie with a Bible, in your head. But when I finally accepted my call at the age of, I was 24, and God showed me that, no, it's not about losing your life. It's about gaining life and an understanding. And so once I got that understanding that his word and, that God is love, and to choose a little boy from South Central surrounded by drugs, alcohol, child abuse, broken homes, police, corrupt, police, but not all of them. But in my community, they had to make themselves appear to be like that. So, they were trying to stand up to that. They were a gang just as well as the other gangs. And so coming from all of that and seeing that God can choose me, I really saw that he's love and he gives life. And so, no, I did not want to be a preacher. I did not want to be a pastor. But once I accepted my calling on what the Lord had purposed for me, then I wanted to do everything that he has called me to do.
Have you always been passionate about performing arts and acting?
Yes. Now I can say yes on that because from a little boy, I always loved creative writing. It took me when I would sit down with a blank piece of paper, and it's just so weird. When I would sit down with a blank piece of paper, that paper represent any world I wanted to tap into, even though it was blank. And I was pretty much the orchestrator of what world I wanted to tap into. All I had to do was started to write and create that world. And creative writing and writing stories have always just really caught my attention, and I just love it. I did a little acting in college, and I fell in love with that. But my main thing is writing scripts. I did some plays and some feature-length films, and I love that area. I love walking into a studio and seeing the cameras and the people and the different, because you can create a different environment of laughter, of drama, romance, whatever you want to see, you can create that. And I've always fell in love with that. Always. It's just extraordinary. So, yes, I've always loved being in that field.
So when you decided to combine these passions and this call upon your life together, were your family and friends supportive of that and of your decision?
You know, when I finally accepted my calling, my grandmother had passed away many years before that. And when I accepted my calling, I felt like, well, Grandma, she's not here anymore. She can't witness this, even though she prophesied it. She predicted this over my life. But once I accepted my calling to preach, my family was very supportive. Now, of course, where I'm from, you got some family members doing some things that they don't want people to know, and so they someone was like, hey, cousin, that's cool and stuff, but you ain't gonna see me up in church, but I'm gonna be rooting for you outside, so but they've always been supportive, always been very respectful and loving, and I just thank them for being that way when I finally stepped into that realm of preaching.
So the times that I've heard you speak, and just knowing who you are and what you post on your social media, why are you so passionate about self-esteem and for and helping people to see themselves and see ourselves through God's eyes?
Now, Sade Champagne, that is very important to me. That's extremely important to me because growing up, I was very insecure about myself. Growing up, kids can be very harsh. And even though they think they know what they're doing, they don't really know. They're trying to find their identity. They're trying to find themselves. And so growing up where I grew up, you had to pretty much fend for yourself. You had to take on this persona that you were somewhat something that maybe you weren't. And I was pretty much perceived as being the nerdy guy, the nerdy boy, with the glasses. I don't know why my mother would always dress me with pants shorter than, I don't know why, she felt the need to do that, I don't know, in the different colored shirts,
so funny,
not matching.
Because you are so cool. That's so funny because you are so cool and you have so much style.
But look, let me tell you something.
That.
When I was younger, you remember the Steve Urkel show?
Yeah.
Family Matters.
Yeah.
I was him before that show came out. I mean, I didn't talk like that. Yes, all the way. I was Steve Urkel before Family Matters. And when I couldn't even watch the TV show. I couldn't watch it because it reminded me of what I went through and how people felt about me. And you wouldn't believe it, but me and Jaleel White, we played against each other in high school in basketball. And we never got along. And I don't know if it's because of that TV show, but we just don't get along. But yes, I was the nerd. And, I wore the glasses that I had to tape back together because we didn't have enough money for me to get new glasses. Wow. So my self-esteem was very low, and there's nothing that I was able to do to really please myself. I was my hardest critic. So growing up, when I became more comfortable with myself and I saw that, look, God accepts me for who I am. Why? It's because he made me like this. And and he allowed us to go through different processes in our life where we blossom. And we're able to value where we come from. That nerdy guy that I used to be, I value that guy because it taught me how to love myself and love other people who don't look like me, sound like me. And so I'm very, very serious when it comes to people being able to value themselves, their self-esteem, because we all have special qualities. It may not be the same, but it's special in many ways. And I don't believe in something being ugly. That's insane. Everything is beautiful. You just have to look at it from a different angle. It's like looking at art. It's like looking at art. You walk up to a painting, someone says, oh, it looks like this. And someone says, well, I see this. It's because of the different angle, the different way of seeing things. And I think everyone should be able to see the value, not just in themselves, but in everyone else around them. And their self-esteem, and how beautiful they are. We all have different qualities. We all have something to contribute into life. We do. We all.
That's really powerful, and I 100% agree with you. So how do you handle setbacks?
That's something I'm still working on, believe it or not, because I'm a person that sometimes maybe I want things too perfect. I want things to go right because I want to see the better outcome. But as it pertains to setbacks, I believe this is what I was taught in church growing up. A setback is only something to set you up. So whatever sets you back, it's something that's going to set you up to either learn from it, experience something through it, and get beyond it. And so I try to have a more of a positive mind because sometimes setbacks, you really can't do anything physically about it. You can't go back and change it. It happened. It occurred. It had to deal with you. But the question is, how do you grow from this? How do you learn from this? And then how do you move on from this? How do you move on? A setback doesn't mean that it's over. A setback means that you've been pushed back a little bit, but it doesn't mean that you can't continue to go forward. So that's how I deal with it. I try to keep a positive mind.
Right, and like you said, you believe it's about perspective. Because even though it may be challenging, and like you said, in that moment, and there's not anything that we could, like you said, sometimes you may not physically be able to do anything about it, but you believe that no matter what, what's happening in that setback, that it doesn't have to determine where we're headed in the future.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I believe that when you have setbacks, believe it or not, when I feel like I'm having a setback or something that is kind of, hindering me, I would go watch one of your videos to encourage me. Yeah, to encourage me. Because I'll say, well, if this sister can be positive, and no matter what she's going through, I know I can be positive because she's showing me and giving me an example that she was able to grow from it, to move on from it, and to learn from it. And so I encourage everyone, you don't have to do this on your own. This is the problem that we have. We think that we're all alone, but we're not. You have many people like yourself and many people like myself who are there to say, okay, it's all right, let's move on. Let's move on. You know, you still have value.
That's really good. And I'm humbled and honored that you would find me inspiring and would want to watch my videos and listen to my messages and words of encouragement when you're going through a difficult time. That means a lot. I'm very encouraged by that.
Oh, no, I thank you. Thank you.
And what are some words of encouragement you would give to aspiring preachers, ministers, actually anyone with a dream, and especially people who are struggling with an insecurity or inferiority complex?
The first thing I would tell anyone, and I had to learn this myself, you cannot go forth unless you go through a process of healing, whatever it is. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, relationship-wise, whatever it is, employment, whatever it is, whatever put that scar on you or wounded you, we all need a process of healing, a process of restoration and restoring ourselves. Because sometimes, this was told unto me, you can be the greatest warrior, but in order to be the best warrior that you can be at the maximum level, you have to heal your wounds. A wounded warrior will not go as far as a healed warrior. And so we all need a time of healing. That's why I would encourage everyone. Whatever's hurt you in the past, whatever's hurt you recently, get healed from it so that wound will not stay open and come back and do more damage later on. And then I would say, learn how to love yourself first. Love yourself. Love yourself. I know, ran into a lot of people who were just loving to each other. They loved other people. They loved people when they came around. But they didn't know how to love themselves. And we all need love. And it's important to love yourself, meaning pretty much know the beauty in you. When you know the beauty in you, you can bring out the beauty in others.
Wow.
And so love yourself. Love yourself. Bring out the beauty in you. You have it in you. I'm not sure if you ever saw the movie Golden Child with Bruce Leroy.
I think I have heard of it before.
Okay. Well, if anybody watched this movie, Bruce Leroy is a great martial artist, but he lacks the confidence in himself, which his master is trying to bring out of him. He's extraordinary, but he's not the master yet. And at the end, by his trials of his adversary, Show Enough, and I'm pretty sure some people watch this like, oh, I know Show Enough. You know, he used to say, who's the baddest of the land? And everybody would say, Show Enough, So he was that kind of person. He was he was overconfident. He hated Bruce Leroy because he saw something in Bruce Leroy that Bruce Leroy could not see in himself. And that's why a lot of us we get attacked by different people, and it's not that personal. They see something in you that they may not see in themselves, but they're mad at you because you don't see it in your own self. And so at the end, once he asked Bruce Leroy as he was, beating him up, he said, who's the master? And by the third time, Bruce Leroy looked up and he started glowing and he said, I am. And he realized that he had it in him all along. And so that's how I encourage people. Bring out the best out of yourself because it's there. You have to tap into it to be able to be successful. And don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt. Doubt is not a part of our nature. We are brilliant, successful, loving, intelligent, and very, very, very determined people when we have tapped into what's inside of us. So I say to young preachers, especially young preachers, because I've been preaching for a while now and pastoring for a while, don't allow discouragement to hinder you from fulfilling what God gave you. My pastor told me a long time ago, no one can take what they never gave you. No one can take from you what they never gave you. They never gave you this joy. They never gave you this calling. They never gave you your creativity and what is already there. So why give it to them? You have to be able to push through it and learn from it and grow from it and move on from it. And I'm still learning this. I'm still learning. I still get emotional. I still get frustrated. I still want to say, this is not worth it. You know, it's not worth all the stress. But at the end of the day, it's no one's to take from me, but the one who gave it to me.
That's good. That's really, really good. And so what do you have coming up, and where do you see your passions taking you in the near future?
Well, there's some things that I'm involved with in the community. I'm involved with some very determined, compassionate brothers and sisters who love the Lord, love each other, love people, love the community. And so I'm involved in the Peacemakers ministry, where they're trying to go into the elementary schools here and encourage our students, encourage the young people to really love themselves and to know that other people love them, and that this community, they have support in this community. And I'm also getting together with some young preachers and pastors in the community called the YPPA, Young Pastors and Preachers Alliance. God really touched my heart to connect with these young preachers and pastors. We did it in L.A. And Compton, where we, the young pastors and preachers, got together and we had peace marches and we went to the gangs and we wrapped our arms around gang members and let them know, look, no matter how hard you think you are, you still need love, man. You still need love. And a lot of things that you're doing is because you don't feel like you're loved and you don't even love yourself. So how can you value another one's life when you don't even value your own? And so, and it's not just the young part, but it's a fresh, new perspective. Young pastors and preachers come together and saying, we really want to touch this community. We really want to encourage people. And so those are some projects that I have in line, and some other community things that I'm excited for. But truthfully, going in the future, I just see God doing great, extraordinary things. I want to get him writing more. I want to put on some more plays. I want to get back into the movie scene and get some of my scripts back in the circuit and being produced. So I just think that there's no limits. I just have to be willing to do it and not be lazy. That's the most important thing. To get lackadaisical and start kind of slacking off, and because there was a point that I was allowing the church to kind of overwhelm the different things that God gave me when I wasn't Pastor Nivens or Reverend Nivens, when I was just Torrence or T, when I was T doing my thing at Cal State Northridge, going through South Central Los Angeles, seeing and observing and just being creative. So that's some of the things I want to get into, but I just see big things for the future. I just see it, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready and excited.
Yeah. Well, you know that you and Rebecca have friends in me, and so anytime you need encouragement, you need some cheering on, you need someone to be like, hey, Torrence, have you been writing lately? Don't leave your dreams behind. Don't let people stress you out. I'm here for you.
I really thank you for that.
Don't forget about yourself.
Yeah, hey, and I need that because sometimes I get so caught up in so many things that, I need that support system to say, hey, what about your own ambitions? What about your own, because that gets lost with a lot of pastors and preachers. They leave their personal goals behind in the name of the church. And there's nowhere in the Bible where God say, forsake your goals and your dreams for the church. He just said, follow me. Exactly, for no one. Don't forsake your goals and your dreams. Even people who are listening to us that they're at jobs that they feel like it's not their goal to be there. Don't allow anything, a job, a position, a city, a place, to kill your dream. That situation didn't give it to you, so don't let them destroy it. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that. My dreams and goals are tailor-made for Torrence to accomplish.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. And so as we wrap up our time together, please let everyone know where and when they can hear you speak or preach, and how they can book you for speaking engagements, for different acting or writing projects, all that good stuff.
Awesome. If you need to contact me, just put a sign up like Batman and I'll be there. No. My church, my church, Evangelistic Missionary Baptist Church, is located at 125 East Pearl Street. 125 East Pearl Street, Port Hueneme, California, 93041. And currently our services are on Sunday at start at 9:30 a.m. We might be changing our service time within the next several weeks, but right now our service is at 9:30 a.m. And we would love to have everyone. No one is excluded. No one is divided and separated. We would love to have you come and be with us so we can wrap our arms around you and love on you. If you need to contact me for any speaking, and that's one other thing I'm getting into. I'm getting more into motivational speaking and tackling that. I'm getting more into that, Yeah, I'm just encouraged. I can get up there and whatever, beatbox. No, I ain't gonna bash myself like that. I can't rap. I ain't gonna lie. But I just, say encouraging words and just let people know how valuable they are. You can email me at mellow, MELLOW 133@gmail.com. Mellow, MELLOW 133@gmail.com. And let me know exactly what you need, if it's just a word of encouragement, if it's prayer, if it's to come out and speak to a group or whatever it is, just let me know. And I'll make sure to be there. And we'll just encourage you and have a great time.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much to my dear friend Torrence Nivens. Next up, we have Jeffrey Golden with Changed. You're listening to the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio.
Hi, everyone. It's Sade Champagne here, and I hope you have already gotten your tickets to the Walls Group Latitude Tour. I had the pleasure of getting an exclusive behind-the-scenes interview with the Walls Group on their Latitude Tour in Los Angeles, and we were able to have them on our Season 3 premiere of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio. This phenomenal tour is absolutely amazing. I have attended many concerts in my life, including Prince's Musicology Tour back in 2004, and the Walls Group Latitude Tour is definitely in my top 3 tours of all time. These Grammy-nominated Billboard charting gospel artists are signed to Kirk Franklin's Fo Yo Soul Recordings in association with RCA Records and releasing their newest studio album this year. They have hundreds and thousands of fans around the world with their videos garnering millions of views. You can go to thewallsgroup.org/tour. Once again, that's thewallsgroup.org/tour. livingwithfearlessjoy.org/tour to get your tickets to this concert. And also, if you want to book them and bring them to a city or event near you, email book@thewallsgroup.org. That's book@thewallsgroup.org. They're coming to Georgia, St. Louis, Louisiana, Virginia, Texas, Orlando, Miami, South Carolina, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., Michigan, Minnesota, and more. Make sure you go to thewallsgroup.org/tour. They have been Sade Champagne approved.
The Living with Fearless Joy segment on the Sade Champagne Radio Show features Rick and Melissa Wood, who run a ministry called Fearless Joy Ministries. Rick and Melissa have a passion to see people free from religion, free from fear, and living lives full of freedom and full of joy. Melissa has authored a book titled Eliminating Fear: How Removing the Fear of God Leads to Removing Fear in Life. If you would like to book Rick and Melissa for any speaking engagements, conferences, or to talk about eliminating fear, you can reach them at the website eliminatingfear.com. Just make sure to go to the Contact Us page where you can get more information and you can communicate with them personally.
You can find Melissa at Melissa Joy Wood at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you can find Rick at Rick C. Wood at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And right here on GrindHard Radio on the Sade Champagne Show.
Our next segment of the night is Living with Fearless Joy. Join pastors, authors, and speakers Rick and Melissa Wood as they share tips and testimonies for living a life free from fear and full of joy. Hashtag Living with Fearless Joy to ask them questions and join in the conversation.
Hey guys, this is Rick and Melissa Wood with the Living with Fearless Joy segment on the Sade Champagne Show. We're so excited to talk to you guys this evening about a topic that may actually sound like it's kind of opposite than what our show title, our segment title is, but it's actually a very important thing, and we want to talk to you guys about navigating through difficult seasons. So yes, we're passionate about living a life of fearless joy and embracing joy in all of your circumstances, but that doesn't negate the fact that we do actually go through difficult seasons in life. And I think because just looking at our actual seasons, we're coming out of winter and we're coming into spring. And so it just kind of reminded me, what are some things that I do, what are some things that Rick does to navigate through and find victory in the midst of difficult seasons, a season that maybe kind of feels like winter for your soul, and how to just transition into that place where you can live in joy even when things may not be going exactly like you want them to. So we're going to talk about just a few things, a few tips that have worked for us in our lives. And the first one is realizing and understanding that your beliefs are more powerful than your circumstances. In your life, if you're going through something difficult, if you have a tough relationship, struggling with some relational issues, maybe you have issues at work, maybe you've got issues with your kids or issues with your parents, maybe you're physically ill, no matter what the circumstances are in your life, they do not have to be what dictates your attitude in the midst of those circumstances. One of the most important things that I've learned over the years is that my beliefs are so much more important than what I'm facing, because it's my beliefs that will help me get through what I'm facing. And I know that if I can have an attitude of hope and joy and faith, that my circumstances, no matter how difficult they may seem, become much more easy to navigate when I can have a good attitude and I can hope for a great outcome. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Romans 8:28, which says that God works all things together for good for those who love Him. Now, what that verse is not saying is that God causes bad things in our life so that He can make something good out of them. But what that verse is saying is that no matter what I'm facing, no matter what difficulty, no matter what issue, that our amazing God loves me so much that He can take that thing and work it into something good for my life. And if I can hold on to verses like that give me hope, that give me faith for my future and for what I'm going through, then I know that my circumstances become much less of a big deal because my beliefs are giving me the power to overcome.
Yeah, and another verse that pops into my mind that kind of gets it's interestingly used, and it's not just for sports, but you see it a lot of times, is the Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And what we miss out is the first part of that verse, right before that verse, in 4:12, where it says, I know whether I abound in much or whether I abound in little, I know that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So to me, that's telling me that no matter what our circumstances are, sometimes we can be, like to quote Spider-Man, with much power comes great responsibility. So even things can be going well, and we have a lot of responsibility, and that can make a difficult season, if you will, or stress on our life. And just to know that whether we're abounding in much or whether abounding in little, circumstances don't really matter. That we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. I just want to tack that on there. And the second thing I want to talk about is we transition from the first one, where your beliefs are more important than your circumstances. Is that we need to embrace our emotions in the midst of this. This isn't like some La La Land, a great movie, by the way, you should see it, some fantasy world where we're denying reality. What we're saying is that, yes, I may feel sad, I'm having a sad, or I may feel angry, but I'm not going to let those feelings or emotions rule my life. I'm going to process those. I'm going to ask myself why. Why am I feeling mad? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling, even happy? We don't usually stop to process that one, do we? Or why am I afraid even? And so I think a lot of times we, and especially in positivity is one of my strengths. I love positivity, but positivity that I'm talking about here and embracing your emotions, it's not ignoring reality. It's saying that there's a superior reality that despite my circumstances, despite what's going on, and even despite my current emotions, that I can ride it out if I get a perspective that is higher, if you will, quote unquote, than my current perspective. And so it's important to process those. And I will say that's why it's important to do, a few just practical tips. Take or leave it, but have somebody you can trust, that you can talk with. A lot of times, in faith days of old, if you will, you had a spiritual confessor or soul friend, is how St. Patrick talked about it. So this person that you could, just kind of process life with, and a lot of times they don't even talk back to you. They just listen to you, whether you're a verbal processor or whether you have intimacy and trust with somebody, and you have to think and talk. It's important to find those kind of people. The other thing you can do if you don't have that currently in your life is journal. You'd be surprised just how getting some of those negative emotions, let me say this, emotions aren't bad or positive or negative. It's what we do with them that becomes positive or negative. Emotions are amoral, if you will. They just are what they are. So whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're afraid, whatever's going on, you can use journaling if you don't have somebody in your life that you can trust or that you can speak to, and you'd be surprised how just venting there, if you will allow you to move past it or see beyond the emotions. A lot of times emotions well up and we feel like they're so overwhelming. It's like a giant, but once you begin to process them, they begin to shrink and they begin to put things in perspective, and you can actually engage the cognitive reasoning portion of your brain, not the fear and the emotional portion of your brain. It begins to take over, and you can make plans, and you can figure out a strategy to help you get through whatever you're going through. So yeah, don't stuff those emotions, don't hide them, don't eat them, don't drink them, don't snort them, just embrace them and process them.
Yeah, one of the great things about being able to embrace your emotions and process them is that it helps you grow in an area that is called emotional intelligence, or you can refer to it as EQ. I'm sure all of you have heard of IQ, which is your intelligence quotient, but EQ is your emotional intelligence. And what that means is, it means a number of things, but one of the aspects of good emotional intelligence is that you are self-aware, that you're aware of your emotions, you're aware of your person, and you're aware of how you affect others. And embracing our emotions and actually processing them and allowing ourselves to feel them helps us to become more self-aware people. Even like Rick said, even emotions like happiness or joy, stopping and just kind of analyzing, what created this happiness in me? Why am I feeling joy? Just learning to know yourself better so that you can grow in your emotional intelligence, because that actually makes you a more relatable person. It helps your relational skills the more that you know yourself, which actually leads to the third point, which is to grow in the middle of difficult circumstances instead of becoming bitter. Now, many times, if we've been hurt by somebody, or, maybe even, let's say we feel hurt by God, our circumstances in life feel like that somehow, God hasn't come through like we wanted him to. There's always the temptation to fall into a place of bitterness and resentment. And the problem with bitterness is that it actually hurts you more than it hurts the person you're bitter towards. That bitterness will stunt you in your growth. You'll become stuck in your circumstances, and you'll never find yourself in a place of joy or freedom. No matter what circumstance you go through, no matter how difficult it is, there is always something to grow from in the midst of it. I mean, I can just think back to times that we've had financial difficulties where we weren't even sure we were going to make it to the next paycheck, and amazing, miraculous money came through from people that literally left cash on our doorstep to checks that were being tried to get mailed to us weeks ahead of time, and they just were able to find us at the right time. And through that, we grew in our ability to trust that no matter what we're going through, provision's going to be there, that God doesn't abandon us, that he doesn't forsake us. But in those times, we could have just gotten really bitter and frustrated about what we were having to face and turned out to be resentful people because of it. But that's not the type of people we want to be. We want to be people who can grow from what we're going through. So if someone's hurt you, learn to forgive, learn to see how you can clean up your side of the street, we like to say. If there's a mess in a relationship, stop and go, okay, what can I fix on my end? I may never be able to force that other person to clean up their side of the street, but I can at least clean up mine and become a healthier person and just grow through whatever difficult circumstance you're going through instead of becoming bitter.
I think part of that growth also is recognizing that there are seasons in life. Like Melissa started off the conversation talking about how, she mentioned seasons. And so, if you will, for a moment, just, winter, spring, summer, and fall. All you got to do is call. Thank you, James Taylor. But think of life as similar circumstances. Summer is when you're having fun, you're out and about, you're always going, unless you grew up in Texas like me, where you're hiding inside with the blinds shut, the air conditioner on high. But it's when life is good. It's when you're living the dream. And then you enter into a fall, where fall things begin to slow down a little bit. You know that a change is coming. And then you enter into winter, where stuff is dead and nothing is happening. And then back into spring, where new life. Well, just the same way, our lives go through seasons, if you will. And so in the summer, we're running with our dreams, and we're pursuing our passion and what God has for us, we're just, everything is going great. And in the fall, sometimes you begin to notice that maybe some things are slowing down. And so our life has patterns like that, and things begin to slow down, and maybe things begin to die off. Maybe the favor or the job opportunities, or just the relationships and things like that just begin to they're dying. They may look beautiful while they're doing it, but they begin to there's something changing. And then you enter the winter, and everything looks bleak and everything looks miserable. A sailing term, they call that the fall, let me back up. Sailing term would call that the doldrums, when there's no wind. Things begin to slow down. But in winter, it's almost like you go underground. You go into the ground, and there's growth happening, but you see nothing on the surface. Everything's barren, everything's cold, and it feels lonely. Winter is coming, whatever it was, that show. That show. Game of Thrones, there you go. So, winter is not
fun, if you will, on the outside, but you know stuff is happening. And then as the ground begins to thaw, in that season of life, you can call it a cocoon, if you will. It's where stuff is going on under the surface that you're being prepared for the new birth, the spring. We celebrate that, the little buds shooting up out of the ground, and then all the trees are in bloom, and the weather is absolutely perfect, and you're beginning to just have a new life again. And so our lives are often like that, and it leads back into summer where we're running hard again. And there's no set time for how long these last. It just depends on on our circumstances and just what's going on in our life, and sometimes those seasons last longer or shorter. But the important thing is to know it's important to recognize what season you're in so that you don't get anxious and you don't get depressed or you don't get fearful. You go, okay, this is the season, and in this season, what are some of the things that I need to do in order to be a healthy person, and my emotional intelligence, my spiritual, my physical, my whatever, what is going on in me? How can I embrace this season? See, what happens a lot of times is in life and marriages and jobs, and we the fall comes and we're still hanging on, but then winter comes and we get scared before we fully embrace that season of what looks like death from the outside, but it's really a call to go deeper and grow our roots. But we short circuit it. As soon as the leaves start falling off the tree in fall, we try to jump to spring, and we never enter into that important season of winter where roots can go deeper and things can get done under the surface so that we can truly bloom and blossom like we never have. I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to have roses, and every winter she would take those beautiful roses and she would chop them back to little stumps in the ground. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? You're killing those roses. And sure enough, it looked dead and depressing. But come spring, after she started feeding it and giving it rose food and all that, spring, they begin to just bloom and little green would push out. And then by the time the middle of the summer, we had the most big, beautiful, fragrant, beautiful roses. So all I can say is embrace the season you're in and don't skip that. Don't skip the parts of it.
I love that, just the understanding that we actually need to go through seasons in life to be whole and healthy people. And just being able to embrace those seasons will actually be what helps us get through those seasons. Yeah. So just to recap, navigating difficult seasons. Number 1, remember your beliefs are more important than your circumstances. Number 2, learn to embrace your emotions and process them. Number 3, grow in that season instead of becoming bitter. And 4, recognize the season that you're in and prepare for the spring that is coming. We're so glad to be able to talk to you guys tonight. We look forward to connecting with you again. You can reach both of us on social media. Mine, Melissa, you can find me at Melissa Joy Wood on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And Rick, you can find at Rick C. Wood on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. Have a great night.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight to episode 40 of the Sade Champagne Show on GrindHard Radio. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, and sharing my radio shows. Next week, our celebrity guests include YouTube sensation, content creator, published author, and inspirational speaker Evan Carmichael, and published author, internationally syndicated radio host and producer Cyrus Webb. We also have a brand new Sharing Your Story segment with Ayakunle, Falama, and Harry Situation segment with Ebony and Erica from Tulala One on YouTube. Thanks to GrindHard Radio for the opportunity to create my own radio shows. Thanks to Travis Miller for creating and producing my theme song, and to Scott Swoosh for mixing the song. Thanks to Kata Mafiaso for helping me to create our brand new radio drop. Thanks to my special guests, Melinda Hale, Antoine King, and TORRENCE Nivens. Thanks to my castmates, Rick and Melissa Wood. Our final song of the night is Your Jordan with Warrior. I'm Sade Champagne, and thanks for listening to my radio show. I am grateful for your support, and I don't take it for granted. We'll see you next Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on GrindHard Radio.
Where dreamers dream, where dreams come true. There's no limit to what we can do. Turning no's to yes, leaving doubt behind, releasing the stress. We were born to shine.